Hello. Today is Friday, August 5th. It's the first week in August. Yesterday was marked 4 weeks post-op, which is just weird to think 4 weeks ago I had my surgery, but then I didn't get released until 11 days later. I know in my last video I explained some things, but I've had major brain fog, so I don't know if it was all super clear what happened. So I was gonna explain a little bit right now while I'm sitting on the couch with a heating pad on my back because my back really hurts. So what happened, I had my surgery on July 7th, and the plan, excuse my cat, the plan was, my surgeon said usually I would be in the hospital 2 to 4 days. I was doing okay as far as, I was really nauseous after surgery, and in the recovery room, I asked for Phenagrin. They always want to give you Zofran first, which is kind of the lower nausea medicine, before giving you Phenagrin. They gave me some Zofran, even though I asked for Phenagrin, just because they had to. Zofran didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't. It's something that's okay when I'm kind of feeling a little nauseous at home, because I do have a prescription for it, but when I am as sick as I am in the hospital, it never works. Phenagrin's the way to go. So then they gave me Phenagrin, and the recovery nurse said I looked green. When they gave me the Phenagrin, I got color back. Because Phenagrin, a lot of the times it works for me is because it knocks you out. And so you get to sleep for a little bit and not feel nauseous. But it's very strong. It's hard on your veins when you have a regular IV, but boy does it work. So I came back to the room. I was just really tired. I got to start a liquid diet. And then the next day, because I'd kept things down and I felt good, I was just a little sore and a little bit of pain, my surgeon moved me to the next diet, which was like low fiber. And so you saw that video of my food. The problem was a couple hours, kept it down for a couple hours, and then I got really nauseous and I threw up. I had called for nausea medicine, but the nurse was really busy, and I get it, it happens, and she didn't get to me in time. She even saw the note on her desk when she got back, and she's like, oh, I hope you didn't have to wait long. She was awesome. I mean, I love her, but she just was helping other patients, and then she saw the note that they left her that I needed nausea medicine, and she gave it to me along with some pain medicine, and I did tell her I had thrown up, which stinks. A little bit later that night, I got sick again and threw up. And yeah, I think it was on the next day, yes, Saturday, that I had the same nurse again. She was so awesome. And she even checked with my surgeon to see if I could get Phenagrin, because the way they had it, so you can only get Phenagrin every 8 hours, and Zofran you can get every 6 hours. So a lot of times, every 4 hours, you can get one of the medicines. Every time it's Zofran time, I just know it's not going to work, and it just really sucks. She didn't want to give me Zofran because Zofran, also a side effect of it, is it makes you constipated. And the whole thing was I needed to have a bowel movement before I could get out of the hospital. So she didn't even want to give me Zofran for my nausea. But the way they had the Phenagrin set up was they had a tiny, small dose, which did nothing. And then they had like another dose that was a little higher, and then like a higher dose. So she finally talked to my surgeon to ask if she could just give me the full dose every 4 hours. Or give me a higher dose every 4 hours instead of every 8 hours. And he approved it. I don't know if it was necessarily the full dose, but it was much better situation. But he came to see me, and I told him about being nauseous and not being able to keep stuff down. And we asked, at this point, I've been getting Finagrin pretty frequently. And like I said, it's hard on your veins. So a lot of times it will blow your vein after a while and you'll have to get a new IV. So we asked for a PICC line, which is something I've had many a time. I have several PICC line scars. A lot of times they don't want to, what I've been told, a lot of times your doctor has to approve it. No one can approve it in the hospital, like a nurse can't, oh, okay, yeah, we'll get you a PICC line. Your doctor has to approve it. And a lot of times, what I've been told a long time ago was that they don't want to do it if you're staying there for a short amount of time. But I have really bad veins, so my surgeon was totally okay with getting me a PICC line. So we actually got a PICC line because my IV was starting to not look good. My arm was starting to get streaky. So we got the PICC line in. There's a specialist that comes by to do them. They're like contractors kind of, and they came a couple hours later, did it. It's an interesting procedure if you've never had it done. They make it all sterile. My mom got to, because she was kind of sitting on the opposite side of the room, she was okay to sit in there, but sometimes they'll make you wear like the garb, the sterile garb, but she was far enough away and she was wearing a mask. But they lay me flat down, and then the arm, my right arm, went out, and they completely like cover this whole area. They have this little heart thing on you to make sure that it goes the right spot. And then they lidocaine your arm, and I can't feel anything. I feel a little pressure, but that's about it. And then he just makes sure it goes, essentially it'll go to your arm, through your arm, and then it feeds to very close to your heart. And yeah, but it's awesome because you can get all your medicine in there. A lot of times they can take blood, but at this hospital, apparently it had passed last year that they were no longer going to take blood, just because there was a risk of higher infection, getting an infection from there. So that sucked because I had to get poked every morning for blood. But anyways, yeah, so I was nauseous, I was throwing up all through the weekend. And on Monday, my surgeon was going to do a bowel series. But I ended up having my first bowel movement. So it was really exciting. So he decided not to do that. We just did some x-rays, and they could see that I had gas in my organs. And so a lot of times they do pump you with gas when you have surgery. And the goal is to walk to get the gas out. I was burping, but I wasn't passing gas. They kept asking me if I could pass gas, and I couldn't. I would just burp. Which it's fine, the gas is going somewhere, but they really wanted to go down. And we were walking, but clearly, I guess we just weren't walking enough. So I did have some bowel movements, but then I got sick again, and it was just not fun. I think Tuesday I had a little bit of bowel movement, and then I think it just kind of stopped again. It was like my organs started to wake up, and then they just didn't fully, because I wasn't going a lot, and my surgeon was like, you'll be going a lot. So come Friday, my surgeon was like, let's do that GI series. I just want to make sure it's not, an obstruction or something. The stuff that they give you to drink is terrible. I could not drink the whole thing. They had given me some Finagrin right before, and the goal is to keep it down. So I drank as much as I could. I tried really hard, and then I was like, I don't think I can drink anymore. So they take an initial x-ray after you drink it, and then she was like, we'll come back in 30 minutes. And so they leave, and then I'm just over here just trying to not throw up. I made it. They did one at the 30-minute marker, then they came back an hour later, and then they had me roll on my right side because it wasn't leaving my stomach. And then I had another one maybe at 30 minutes after that to an hour. I had about 3 or 4, and then I threw up. And that stuff coming up was bad. It smelled bad. It wasn't great. So, anyways, I threw up, but I think they got the pictures that they needed. And honestly, I can't remember what it told them, but I threw up all afternoon, and it was just that contrast. And by 11 p.m., it was the last time I threw up the contrast, and I felt a lot better. Like once I had gotten it all out of my system, I felt a lot better. And a plus of this contrast, it can be therapeutic in waking up your bowels. And I started having bowel movements. It was a turning point. Saturday and Sunday, I never had nausea again. I never threw up again. And I was having a million bowel movements. So come Monday, my surgeon came in really early and had seen that I was doing well. I was like, I haven't had nausea medicine since that Friday evening. I think maybe Saturday morning I had some nausea medicine. I hadn't thrown up, and I was going to the bathroom, which was the goal. So he was like, and I was ready to get out of the hospital at that point. So he let me go home. So yeah, so that was kind of what happened in the hospital. Not really sure. It wasn't a small bowel obstruction, but it wasn't really a full ileus. An ileus is when your organs they go to sleep and they just don't wake up and you get sick. And that's why walking is really important. But yeah, it was just kind of weird. But that's what happened while I was in the hospital. A little bit clearer as far as I know. I kind of explained it, but not really fully. So hopefully that was a little bit better of an explanation of what happened to me. So I was in the hospital for 11 days. So what was supposed to be a 2 to 4 day stay turned into 11 days that I was in the hospital. So it was weird to be like, wow, I'm at 2 weeks post-op, but I've only been home for a couple of days. And so now it's weird because I'm like, oh, I'm 4 weeks post-op, but I've only been home for like 2.5 weeks. It's just weird because of that week and a half time that I was still in the hospital. So anyways, I will keep all updated as to what's going on with my pouch. Hello. Today is Friday, August 12th. I was looking at my calendar. I've lost track of days. I had to look at my calendar to make sure today was Friday. It's been a week since I last filmed and kind of gave you the rundown of everything that happened in the hospital. We are just at, yesterday was my 5th week since surgery. So we are now on 5 weeks, counting Thursday since that's where I had surgery. I'm doing pretty well. My parents are going to probably go home this weekend. My mom came for a few weeks and my dad came. Since my mom had to get ready for work since she's a teacher, and she's coming down this weekend, but then I think I'm okay to be by myself next week before I go back to work. I still can't lift anything heavy. I'm no push or pulling until that next week. I'll see my surgeon for my monthly checkup since I last saw him, and then just get confirmation, because at that point I will have just hit 7 weeks post-op and I should be okay to start lifting things, but I'll get his confirmation. But mentally I'm feeling pretty good. I'm still really tired a lot, but I can tell I'm feeling better because I want to organize my apartment. I mean, I appreciate the help from my parents. However, they are not putting things back where they're supposed to go. Yeah, so I'm doing okay. My bowel movements are getting a little smaller. So I'd say I'm going about 8 to 10 times a day. It could vary, but it's definitely not like 15 times like it was when I got out of the hospital. So it's getting better. I can tell certain foods give me butt burn. So I have had just a little bit of salsa or something that had just a tiny bit of spice, nothing too spicy, but even if it had a little bit of spice, I usually, a couple hours later when I go to the bathroom, I have butt burn for a couple of bowel movements. Then it gets better again. So, I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but definitely related to foods. So I'll just try to keep those in moderation. I do take Lamodal before I go to bed at night, and I think that helps as far as I usually go once in the evening. Last night I forgot to take it and I went twice in the evening, and then like I kind of woke up a couple times. I had some gas pains. When I do get a gas pain, I have to sit on the toilet because it's kind of letting a fart out, it's not always a fart, so I kind of have to sit on the toilet. But yeah, been feeling pretty good. So my allergies are what's making me feel terrible the last couple of days. I've started sneezing. It got really windy a couple days ago, and the temperature dropped because we had a little bit of rain. But yeah, so it's brought in some crud that's making my allergies not happy. So yeah, that's really the thing that's upsetting me is my allergies and the drainage that's going into my gut. But overall, doing better. So I will keep it posted. Hello. Today is Monday, August 15th. I am on my last week of FMLA for work. I'll be going back to work next Monday, and I'm a little nervous about it. I'm still having to cover my wound because it is still an open wound, clean and change the dressing once a day. It is getting very small, but I may still be doing it when I go back to work, depending on how fast it heals. But I am on, I guess, my 6th week of FMLA. Technically, I won't hit my 6th week from my surgery date until this Thursday. So, and then I see my surgeon next Thursday for a 1-month follow-up from my last appointment with him and see how things are going. So yeah, I'm currently in my bathroom and I am about to move some ostomy supplies out of this basket that I've had in the bathroom, and I am going to move ostomy supplies out of this and put some J-pouch stuff in it and put it behind my toilet. The stuff that was in this basket is stuff that I would have ready on hand for a quick bag change. All my other supplies would be still in their packages in some drawers, but this I always would pull. Since I wore 2 pieces, I would open one of my flanges, boxes, put that in there, as well as 5 bags that were ready to go whenever I needed to make a bag change. And then when I got low with the supplies in the basket, I refilled them. So I am now going to pull out the leftover supplies that I have in there and put my J-pouch stuff in it. So I'll film a little bit of that, and then I will kind of go over what I am currently using with my J-pouch. I know this is flattering toilet paper. Yeah, I'm sitting on the bath mat, but here we are. Okay, so I've put stuff that I'm currently using. I may add more things in there, but for now, this is what I'm currently using with my J-pouch. I have these flushable cleansing cloths. I actually don't flush them down the toilet. I still put them in the trash can, but these things are much better than toilet paper. I got these at Target, but you honestly can get these anywhere. Where I had my reversal surgery, I would still have like mucus come out of my pouch, so I did already have these that I would use to wipe with when I had mucus come out, but now these things are like, I don't use toilet paper quite as much as I use these. You can buy these by themselves or in a 2-pack, or I've discovered you can buy a box of them that has 8. And that is now going to be my new normal of buying 8 packs of these. So these are just 3 right now that fit nicely in here. And then I have a fresh box. So when this gets low, I'll put more in there. But I do have one right behind the toilet, like on the lid of an open one that's just easy to grab behind me. So these will just be kind of the backups. So also, I've used this back with my ulcerative colitis. I didn't use it as much with my ostomy bag, and even now with my J pouch, I will say this stuff does work, but because of the liquidy output, it's not, since not everything goes under into the water, sometimes it's, I don't want to get graphic, but anyways, Poo-Pourri spray is the best. I got my parents hooked on this. It's just great. But I have one that I've got behind my toilet. This is just the next one to use once that one gets used up, but you just spray it. If you've never used Poo-Pourri before, you just spray it before you go to the bathroom. It's not an air spray. It goes into the toilet on the water. So you spray some spritz on the water, and essentially it just, when you go, you know, everything goes into the water, and then that layer on the water helps just trap odors. So it's not as smelly. It's still gonna smell, but this stuff's a lot better. So, love this stuff. Next up, I have this calmoseptine ointment. This stuff, y'all, is awesome. I had gotten this recommendation from several J pouchers on Instagram. It works really well. It's just a it's just an ointment. The purpose of it, it just protects, soothes, and promotes healing. So because my rear is just red all the time, even when I don't have butt burn, this stuff really helps. When I really have butt burn, oh, this stuff is a godsend. It burns a smidge because that skin is raw down there, but it really helps to heal. So, and then I have my lovely travel bidet. I got this for $10 on Amazon, and I don't use it every time I go to the bathroom, but when I get really that butt burn, really bad butt burn, I use this because it soothes a lot better than even my cleansing cloths. And I don't get butt burn all the time. I can tell it's certain foods that I eat, and that's when I'll use this, and the water just feels really good and soothing to use this. So it's pretty effective. And filling it up all the way, you can use this a couple times before you have to fill it up again. And what's nice is because it's a travel bidet, there is water in it right now, but you can unscrew this lid and flip. I'll show you without fully demonstrating. So because there's water in here, I can't fully put it in, but you undo this, you put the lid in, so it's gonna sit like this. And then it comes with a cool little carrying case that I could put this in. That way I can travel with it. So yeah, so that's currently what I'm gonna put behind my toilet. I am still going to keep this sting-free adhesive releaser that I use for my ostomy bag because my wound that I cover, it doesn't hurt too much to peel this tape off from the gauze, but when it gets close to, I have a really long scar down here, and most of the scar down here was covered by my ostomy bag. When I get close to peeling the tape off near this, it's very tender. So I found that my adhesive releaser works really well to just spritz right around the edge of that gauze, and then the tape peels off very easily. So I'm still using this, which is funny. But yeah, so that's currently what I've got going on. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna put behind my toilet. I am going to be holding on to my ostomy supplies for a little bit because you never know. I may hold on to them for about maybe 3 to 6 months. I don't have a ton of supplies left because I didn't order any more towards the last couple of months. I had kind of a stock of ostomy supplies, and I had counted that I had enough to get me to surgery, and I do still have like a little extra. It's not a ton, but it's just a little extra. So I'm gonna hold on to those for a little bit, and then if everything goes smoothly with my J pouch, then I will donate the supplies that I haven't opened. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. I will probably do a video maybe documenting all next week as I return to work. I am excited to see my work friends, but I'm also really nervous because this is just a new territory, and it's like I'm going back to how things were, you know, before I had my ostomy bag. The good thing is that I'm not having the, you know, when I get the feeling that I need to go to the bathroom, I don't have to immediately run to the bathroom. I can hold it for a little bit. My gut does start to get pretty loud though. It does make a lot of gurgly noises. So I have noticed the longer that I am holding it, some of it is, I think, just gas. So it makes some gurgly noises because I need to let gas out as well. But not just the gas, it just does. If I hold it for so long, my bowel is going to make noises, and it is very loud. It sounds, to a normal person, it might just sound like my stomach's growling. To me, it's like digestion. So it's when it gets down to the lower part of my small intestines and to my J pouch, it gets really gurgly. So a plus that I've noticed in the last week is the area to the right of my wound is no longer hurting when I eat. So that means that Myrtle is probably back to normal size. So she's no longer small, she's stretched out, living her little intestines life back inside of me. So that's really nice, because it was not like intense pain, but it was just uncomfortable. Because anytime I ate, I could just tell when it hit that area, the food. So that's really nice. If anything exciting happens this week, I will document it. My parents left yesterday, so I am by myself this week, but I kind of needed it. I was getting to the point where, I mean, I still can't lift anything heavy, and I'll get the official all clear when I see my surgeon next week, and maybe I can start slowly working out, which is something that I want to do because, y'all, I have no muscle in my legs now, or my arms, but definitely my legs feel like little chicken legs. But I just need to organize some stuff that's kind of gotten disorganized between me being in the hospital for 11 days and then me not feeling great when I got out of the hospital and all that fun stuff. So it's basically going to be me slowly doing a little bit of reorganization, a little bit of cleaning each day this week. And then just mentally having a little bit of alone time before I go back to work and I'm around a lot of people again. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it was a little insightful on kind of what's going on with my J pouch. I wish I had been able to film a little bit more during this process as I'm healing, but I was so nauseous in the hospital, I barely filmed. And then the next couple of weeks when I got home, I was just tired a lot and just uncomfortable and didn't do it a whole lot. My mom and I we would go to department stores and walk around, which was good because you need to walk around to get your strength, and then also it helps get that gas out of your system. So, but it wasn't too eventful, other than the fact that I was going to the bathroom a lot. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will keep documenting updates with my J pouch. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, all that fun stuff. Subscribe if you want to subscribe, or follow me on social media, Instagram, where I post more fun stuff about my inflammatory bowel disease. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.